Hello, my name is Oslo Schaller. It is July 6th, 2019, and today I would like to make a video on sharing my experience with Laurel Music Camp. This is a tradition in Connecticut that's been going on for 75 years now, and it is something that many people go to and many people treasure. And today, after 5 years of going there, I have decided that I want to make a video sharing my entire 5 year experience because this camp has really helped shape me not only as a musician but also a person too. And I've experienced a lot of emotions and experiences that have just been kind of building up. And I decided, you know what, I would like to share them. There are some great memories, there are some not so great memories, there are some happy feelings, not so happy feelings, but overall, it is one of the most important experiences of my life, and I would really like to share that today. Um, so, I guess without further ado, let me begin from the very beginning. It all started back in 2015. I was an incoming freshman. I haven't even started high school yet. Um, and what's really interesting is at that time, I have never been at a stay away music camp before. I've never had any experiences with just being away from home for that period of time before. And so, one might imagine that I wasn't very excited when I found out that my mom enrolled me in this week long music camp. I mean, sure, I did like music at the time, like I am today, but I was just not into the idea of spending a week away from home in a place that I don't know with people I don't know. So I was very scared to go, but my mom pushed me to go, and I will say now that I'm very happy she did. Um, this took place in 2015, and here is the program from that year, 2015. Um, and I must say, it was quite an experience my first year. Um, the feeling of being very isolated in a place I didn't know did kind of hold up that week. I did cry a lot during the week. Some were good, some were bad. But yeah, I will say that I was very intimidated at first, like I thought I was going to be. Because basically, how it works is you play for about 5 hours a day, um, and you're playing all sorts of music that you have to learn by the end of the week. And at the time, I've never done anything like that before in my music career, so you can imagine I was very intimidated by that, and I got very, very scared and started crying because I was like, no, I can't do this. I'm just a freshman. Um, so yeah, I got very scared by that. But at that time, what really helped me was the senior staff there. I remember that the very first night I was there, um, senior staff Mark and Katie, those two came to my aid that night when I was really at my lowest point, um, and just my absolute, stress, as max stress. Um, and I will never forget that night because they really comforted me and really explained, the joys of camp and what the potential of camp can really be. Because literally that first night I wanted to go back home. I was desperate. I was like pleading to people like, please take me back home. I do not want to be here. But I remember the senior staff really comforted me, and really showed me the potential of camp. So, and I don't think definitely wouldn't be here without that happening. So, you know, that's just scratching the surface of how great the staff is at this camp. So I did continue, and I auditioned. I made it. I was actually a shared musician this year. This stands as the only year where I was a shared musician because at this year there were only two oboe players. It was me and a girl named Allison. I believe she was a graduating senior. So because she never came back afterwards. Um, so she was probably a graduating senior. Um, but yeah, she was really good. She really carried me a lot through the week. She really helped carry me. But at the end of the week, I was very amazed by how much music I had played, and just how much I learned in so little time. Because again, at that time, I've never done it. I never did anything like that before, in my music career. I've never done that. So that really did impress me. But yes, I played in the concert band and the orchestra. We played some pretty great pieces. The two, one from each that I remember is we played Chorale and Shaker Dance 2 in concert band, and we played Fiddler on the Roof in orchestra. Those are the two I absolutely remember the most because they're great pieces of music, and they're also kind of catchy too. And once I got more settled in camp, I decided to to do solo night, which takes place on Monday, because I decided, let's put myself out there a little bit. Let's make my oboe be heard. Because in case you don't know, that's what I play the oboe. Um, but yeah, that I decided to do that, and also because like a lot of staff was encouraging me to. It's like, hey, you should do solo night. It's really cool stuff. And I actually did have a piece that I was playing at the time that I really liked, and it was really good for the oboe. So I was like, you know what? All right, I'll do the solo night. It's not a hard piece of music. I think I can do it. So I decided to play this piece by Eric Satie. This is actually this is the actual sheet music that I read through on that night. It's called Janasain Number 1 by Eric Satie. It's this beautiful oboe solo. It could have like a piano or a guitar accompaniment, but I just play it by myself because solo night and everything, and I didn't know how I felt about asking someone else to play with me. Didn't really understand how those things worked at the time, but yeah, that's exactly what I played, and it was a hit. A lot of people like said, "Hey, good job on that solo." I mean, of course, a lot of people are going to do that just to be nice, but and at the time I was very like, "Oh my gosh, yay! People are actually noticing me." Because I'll just say now, I was not a popular kid in high school. Nobody really knew me. I was kind of like the isolated person in the shadows, however you want to say it. But yeah, just like the fact that I was getting like all this attention was very baffling and very surprising to me because I that doesn't usually happen in my everyday life. A couple things I have here are some pictures from my very first year. Here's me on solo night in 2015. That's how different I looked. I had a much shorter hair. I had an Adventure Time sweatshirt. I actually really like that shirt, and I still do to this day. Unfortunately, I don't wear it anymore because I outgrew it. Here's another one. This is Allison and I. Pretty much the entire oboe section in Laurel Music Camp. I believe this was taken when we were in concert band. And also, here's the dining room paper. It's got a couple parts missing, but it's the exact same paper I got the very first day, and it's very beat up. I set in the blue section, blue 5 to be exact. It's funny how it's pretty much the exact same photo layout as the years to come. They didn't really change it, even though the salad bar is in a very different place than today than where it used to be. But yeah, those are all from my very first year. All the same things that I had all the way back in 2015. It just seems like such a long time ago now. But I remember overall it was a very enjoyable experience. I remember there was a lot of good memories. The fact that I just kind of got overwhelmed that many times, and keep in mind that wasn't the first day. Wasn't the only day I started crying either. There was a couple other days where that I just kind of very overwhelmed because I was an incoming freshman. I was a very small kid too. That was kind of before I started hitting my growth spurt. I was a very late bloomer. So I was this really small kid, and a lot of people looked down on me, and I guess a lot of people just didn't really kind of understand, in a way, and so that kind of made me feel overwhelmed and isolated a little bit a lot of times. But it was still, there was so many more supportive people than my high school or middle school, really, because that's where I was coming from at the time. Um, but yeah, it was, yeah, I remember it was very memorable, and of course, I had to be, because since I started coming back afterwards. Um, but that pretty much wraps up year one. I don't think there's anything else to say. I think if I were to give it a grade, it would be a I think it would be a B plus, because I really enjoyed myself during that week. And also another thing I remember is, now we for our concerts we go to Naugatuck High School. For this one, we actually went to the East Hartford middle school, and that actually makes sense because I remember that year that the place we went to was different, and so that makes sense because this is not Naugatuck High School that I went to our very first year. But why all the way to East Hartford, of all of all places. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it for the first year. Moving on to year two. This took place in 2016, and here is the program from that very same year. It's the actual thing, 2016, and this was a lot different because we had a lot more oboes. I believe it was four this time. One of them was actually from my high school. Um, for this, I was an incoming sophomore, and oh, here I also have the little slip that you get too. I don't know why it has all these things hanging out from it. It is really old and beaten up. But yeah, I guess to start with year two, I think this was, I'd say, the worst year in a way that I've had. I remember like there was not much memorable about this year. I mean, I know it was a long time ago, but I remember a lot more about my first year than I do my second year. And I think a big reason why is because for I think it was solo night mostly. I do have a picture. That's me playing solo night my second year. I still got my short hair. I still look very weird than what I do today. Um, but yeah, that was, and I for this year I played. I mean, it's not that my solo night piece was bad. I just don't think it was very memorable. Basically, I played the second movement of English folk song suite. Because basically that whole movement is pretty much like an oboe solo, and it was something. This piece I actually did for the Berkshire Festival during my freshman year, so that's kind of why like it was still kind of relevant to me. Um, and we only played the first movement in Berkshire's, but I remember I listened to the second and third because I was like, oh, this piece is pretty cool. Oh, it's got two other movements. I'd like to see how they sound. And the second movement was like this entire oboe, so I was like, holy crap, that is pretty cool. So yeah, I decided to play that for solo night. Because since considering how the success was from the previous year, I wanted to do solo night again. And this, I guess it was fine. I think my playing was okay. But what came out of it is one that I really despise today. Basically, I kind of got fame greedy, if that's how you want to call it. But yeah, I remember I didn't get a lot of it, as much attention as I did my first year, and I'm ashamed that I did this, but I got pretty like I was pretty upset and pretty greedy. It was like pay attention to me, and I kind of got a little, and I got pretty greedy. And so I just now I look back on that, I was like, why did I do that? That's really dumb and selfish of me. But yeah, I remember I got just kind of fame greedy, and I did learn from that the year after. But I look back on that, and I'm just kind of ashamed. And so I think that's a big reason why that made that year very memorable. I also don't remember any music that we played, because I was just in the concert band that year. I wasn't shared because there was four oboes, so just two for each. It was fine. I'm actually gonna look. Let's actually look through the program here. What did the concert band play? Let's see. The concert band played absolutely nothing I remember. I do not recognize any of these names. That is interesting. I don't remember any of those. But hey, another reason why it's not that memorable. Oh, it's also here's the placemat thing I set in red 10 that year. It's actually in much better shape than the first year. Oh, and also here's the music I went off of for solo night. This is the exact sheet music I used that night. I think it went okay. My playing was alright for the time. But anyway, I'm gonna stop talking now because now I'm gonna move on to year 3, and this is one I call the. Actually, no. Before I get to year 3, if I were to grade year 2, I would give it a B minus because it really wasn't that memorable. I also like to summarize each year within a sentence or like kind of or a movie title almost. I don't give a movie title to the first year because a lot of like first movies don't really have a supporting title other than the main one because I don't know, that's kind of how movies work, I guess. But the sentence I gave for year 2 was the Bonnie Boy returns because it's second year, so you're returning, and then I played my Bonnie Boy, so and I was kind of this little Bonnie Boy. So that's how I sum that year up. But yeah, that's it for year 2. All right. Anyway, now moving on to year 3. This one I call the absolute renaissance of Laurel Music Camp. This year was fantastic. It was so much better than year 2, and for many different reasons. First, here is the program. Took place in 2017, and I was still in the concert band, but I did make first, and I remember we played some pretty good pieces, and so I really didn't mind at all that I didn't get into orchestra. I did not mind at all. We played the Sea Lullaby, which is a beautiful piece. We played 3 folk song settings for band. It's kind of like we include a Scarborough Fair, and All the Pretty Little Horses. We played all 3 of those. We played Valdres, which was a great piece as well. But all this music was a lot more memorable, and I really enjoyed it. So that's what makes yeah. So that really made it better. So let's see. There's a program. Here's the slip we got with the dining, and here's some pictures too. This was during a sectionals, and you can see Lily was my running oboe with me. And I also got my red hair too. This was the year that I started dyeing my hair. And for my very first year, I went red. And it is kind of faded too because I got it done on my birthday, which is in February. So many months later, it just kind of faded out a little bit. Here's another picture. There's the 2 oboes for concert band. Oh, I'm also wearing my ADD shirt, and it's still like one of my favorite shirts ever, because I do have ADD. I do drift and divert conversations a lot, and this shirt that I got in Cape Cod, specifically Provincetown, just sums it up so perfectly. It says, "Ask me about my ADD or cake. I like cake. What's today? I saw a tree. Hi." And it just made me laugh every time because it was like, this is perfect. But anyway, moving on. What really made that year so memorable was the piece I played for solo night. Holy crap, this was probably the best solo night I've ever had. First of all, here's a picture. that's me playing Solo Night with my red hair, and and also here, let's see, is this the, yeah, here's a placemat too. I set in blue 10. Interesting. And also, I really liked my table that year. There were so many cool people on that table. I remember it. We took pictures, and we were all like, we were very coordinated, and coordinated is not really the word. We just worked together. We just worked really well together, and it was a lot of fun. But anyway, Solo Night. I played Super Mario Galaxy on the Oboe because this is the time where I started getting around to playing video game music, and I realized like how freaking fun it was. And so I decided to play the end credits music of Super Mario Galaxy on the Oboe. Because Super Mario Galaxy has this amazing soundtrack. It is breathtaking. I would recommend like listening to any sort of piece from that soundtrack because like every one of them is worth a listen. To be honest, it is so good. And I decided to play the end credits one because it's the only one that has like an end in a way. Because since it's video game music, a lot of the music is looped. So I didn't really know how to make that work as just kind of a performance piece at the time. So, and since the end credits scene was all one piece with an end, I thought what, I'll play that since it kind of works. And I remember every bit of it, and it was amazing. First of all, when I just played like the first couple notes, the ba 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 ba, everyone started cheering. Everyone recognized it and just started cheering, and I was so surprised. I was like, "What? You guys heard of this?" Because I honestly didn't think many people would recognize it because it's video games and stuff. Um, but no, like everyone just started cheering. Like when I played the opening notes, I was so surprised. I did not expect that. Um, here, let me show you the music. Here it is. This is the exact sheet that I read off of, and it's very messy because I basically just kind of like, because this is something I kind of arranged too, because you're basically taking like an orchestrate score, and combine and trying to take all like the melody parts that are compatible with the oboe, of course. So this is kind of like my first um, markings of arranging, because I pretty much had to like define all like the melody parts that are in concert pitch too. So as you can see, it's pretty messy because I started kind of like not splicing, but trying to like kind of edit this together on the computer. And then when I got to camp, I realized that I missed so much stuff. So I just started like writing the rest of it, like this whole part right here. I literally just started writing it because I forgot that whole line. So I just wrote it in pencil. But it ended up working, and it really ended up working. Um, and also it also remains one of my only solo nights where I got a standing ovation at the very end. Um, and also, one more thing that some people might recognize and some people might not know at all is that towards the end, I had to play this super high note. And it's one that I struggled with in practice, but I was gonna go for it because why not? And when I went for it during the performance, I messed it up and just made this big squeak. And so, what I did was, I quickly took the reed out of my mouth and I just muttered out, "Why do I even try?" And that sparked an entire meme that would last the rest of the Laurel Music Camp and for many years to come. So yeah, for those of you who might be confused on where that came from, now you know. That's where it came from. And people still quote me on that to this very day. The really funny thing about it is at the time I usually like I never say that phrase. I usually never say why do I even try. But like when I messed up, it just came out. I didn't I didn't plan it at all. Just I missed the note and I just muttered it out. It came out, and little did I know that that would become a trending line for many years to come. So I find that very funny. But yeah, that now proves how significant that solo night was. I think I just spent like about 10 minutes talking about it. well, not really, not really, but and yeah, and the third year was just like it was such a great week. I remember I learned from my lesson the previous year. I wasn't greedy on, fame and everything. I just, kind of let things flow, take their natural path. My tent mate was Mark Jones, clarinet player at the time. He's a great guy. Um, and it was just a really fun time. I remember it was definitely the best year by far, and because like, actually, um, I was actually planning that to be my last year there, because there was some other camps that I was actually interested in going to at the time, but like, this year really made me question that. And I think if that year wasn't as good as it was, I don't think I would have came back afterwards. Um, but just considering how amazing that entire week was for my third year, um, I decided, I want to come back afterwards. This was so much fun. I want to have more years like this in the future. And so I think that's very important. That's why I kind of call it the Renaissance, because it really kind of sparked like Laurel Music Camp as a really important place. And I know most people say that, it's not usually the best your first few years because you don't know what this place is or who these people are, but usually you have to kind of get into it in later years. And that's when I kind of really got like seriously got into Laurel Music Camp. Like this is pretty much the second home for me. That's when I really started to understand just how special this place was. Um, because I don't know if many people know this, but all the staff are volunteers. They do it because they want to. They do it because they want to be there, and it's special to them too. They don't get paid or anything. They do it because they love it, and that's very special. And it's very amazing how so many people and how it's Laurel Music Camp is important to so many people, and this is the year where I really started to understand that, and really started to say to myself, this really is important to me too. So that's why year three was such an important year. The sentence I would give for this one is called "A Galaxy Will Rise," because I played a piece called Galaxy. Um, and I just call it Will Rise since it's, Rise, Renaissance, I don't know. For grade, I would give it an A minus because it was absolutely amazing. Um, and that's pretty much all I have to say about year three. So I guess moving on to year four this time. Boy, year four. This one was very unique. I did not. I really set this. I think I really set the bar high with year three. Um, but year four really surprised me, and in more ways than one. First of all, I actually do not have the program for this one. Unfortunately, I have no. I think I must have lost it or something. I don't know where it is. But I just was not able to find it. I do have the slip, the little brochure. That's the proper word. Um, and here's the placemat that I have, and here's even the sticker I got the very first day. Um, and and also one thing I should mention, I was in. Actually, no, I'll mention this later. But it's about like what campsites I'm in. I'll talk about that afterwards. This year I was in Baden-Powell, um, and which is an alright place. It's kind of like on this like high hill, a lot of you probably know if you've been to Baden-Powell, um, but yeah, my tent mate was Luke Ashworth, my lovely husband, um, and he was a great tent mate. I remember my tent was absolutely Spider Town that year. There were so many spiders. I don't know why. That's what I remember about being in the campsite that year, but there were so many spiders. It was kind of scary. I'm not like terrified of spiders or anything, but I don't really like to be around them that much. They're creepy. But anyway, moving on. This was the only year where I was in every single um, every single like performance night that week, excluding the Boy Scout campfire on the very first day. I was in every other sing. I was in every other. I participated in some way um, in every other like special night theme thing. I don't know what they're really called. Program. I don't know, but basically from from Sunday to Friday, I was in everything. So I guess starting with staff night, which is Sunday, Rex asked me to play second oboe in this the big band um, ensemble that he was doing, and I played this. It's an Irish tune from County Derry. Didn't play much, as you can see here, but I didn't really care. I was like, wait, you want me to be in staff night? Like, that's crazy. I'm a camper. What are you doing? Um, but yeah, that was pretty cool to play, and I was happy to be there. And let's see, next for solo night, I played this Rainbow Road melody that I arranged. It's basically it's from Mario Kart. I basically threw in a bunch of like tunes from the Rainbow Road tracks because I think they're really good tunes, and I just kind of put those together and played it. I actually don't have the music for that right with me because I think I lost it. Well, I'm pretty sure I did lost. I'm pretty sure I did lose it because I obviously did not find it. But so that's a little unfortunate. But basically, I thought it was okay. I wouldn't say it's as good as the Galaxy piece I played the previous year. I don't think anything will top that. But yeah, I thought it was alright. I thought it was decent. I thought I played alright. Um, but anyway, moving on. It's not really that memorable, but it was still good. Still helped me kind of make a name for myself, as always. Um, anyway, for Tuesday was ensemble night, and for that, Vinny La Monica, who is like the double reed specialist at Laurel Music Camp, had all the double reeds, and we played this. We played Pirates of the Caribbean, and I actually really loved playing this. This was a lot of fun. Um, it was very well arranged too, and we played some really famous melodies from Pirates of the Caribbean, um, and it was just a lot of fun. And yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about that. And Wednesday I was in stunt night too, which was a lot of fun. I think I did. Let's see, I only do one thing in stunt night, um, which was like this double reed skit. And it was kind of funny. Basically, like kind of Luke comes in and he plays was it Rite of Springs? I believe it was called. Yeah. Um, he just makes an entrance and we just talk about like a rehearsal and just make all these sorts of like jokes about pieces of music. It was a lot of fun to do. Um, so yeah, I did that. This also wasn't the first time I participated in stunt night. I actually participate in stunt night pretty much like every year up until then. And I did some alright skits because like Tunxus likes to do like kind of like all camp skits sometimes. And so when I was in Tunxus, which I was my first and third year, I did skits there. I don't think I did anything for. I don't think I did anything for stunt my second year. I honestly don't remember much from second year, as I've stated. Um, but yeah. Anyway, moving on. Thursday was the mini concert, of course, and then the dance, and yeah, Friday was just the all of the big concert and everything. So yeah, I was in every single thing apart from the Boy Scout campfire first day. So that was pretty cool. that I didn't do that this year, um, and I will explain why when we get there. And also I actually can't believe I kept this, but here is the Laurelette from last year. Still have that. And also, I guess I'll talk about this because I kind of want to. It's also kind of good to get it out. But what really made um, my fourth year very special is I met someone. On the night of the dance, I met this girl who I really liked. She was pretty cool. And on the dance. Like we just kind of clicked. Um, and that's like the first time I ever experienced like that. I was like, oh, I like this girl, but it actually looks like she really likes me too. It's like, oh my gosh, that's pretty cool. And we started going out afterwards, which was again pretty cool. That was my first relationship ever. That was the first one, and that's kind of what makes that year pretty memorable, was because of that, and it was quite an experience. It didn't last long, unfortunately. It only lasted like the entire summer, but that's gonna be something I'm not gonna forget for a very long time. Um, but I do not regret anything that happened during that week in Laurel Music Camp. And again, I was very surprised how it some doubt turned to be almost better than the previous year. Not just because of what happened at the dance alone, but just because that week was also extremely fun too, like it always is. Um, Again, like the previous year, and I just really enjoyed myself like I always do, and it just kind of really just kind of sealed in the idea of this place is extremely special, and I love it. Um, the sentence I would give for this year was the triumph that was Rainbow Road. That is a very weird name, but it just kind of has some sort of ring to it. Rainbow Road because obviously that's the piece I played for so long, and it's called like a triumph because like there was like just so much good that happened during it. So I don't know why I call it that, but yeah. And I would give it an A because like there was I can't not think of any negativities from that week. Um, and I rate it better than the previous year, mostly because like I participated in everything, and I that's the year when I absolutely started really making a name for myself, and I met so many people that year. Holy crap, did I meet so many people? And many of those I saw again this year. Um, and that doesn't usually happen. A lot of people that kind of I meet each year don't really carry. Some do, but some don't as well. Definitely not as much as that the current year at the time. I don't know if what I'm saying makes any sense, but a lot of friendships and people I knew from last year really carried into this year, and there was a lot of them too. Um, but that actually still wasn't many compared to this year. And I guess that kind of brings me to today. So, alas, here we are. It is 2019. It is a very special one because, of course, it was my fifth year. It was also the 75th year of Laurel Music Camp, so the stars really aligned for this to be a very special one. And boy, was it special. And let's get right into it. Here's the program this year. A lot of you probably have it already, at least those of you who went there, of course. But this was this was the year where I put myself out so much, and which is surprising because I actually did not participate in every single night like I did my previous year or last year, and I will say I'll tell you why, but I really made I was almost kind of like a pre junior counselor because I tried to put myself out so much and really try to participate in so many things too. I tried to meet so many people, and it really all just worked out. Um, so anyway, here's the placemat. It's all folded up because I kept it in my pocket. But yeah, still pretty recent, so it's not like as ancient as the previous years. Here's the brochure too. But anyway, I guess I'll start at the very beginning. I saw so many people from last year, and I met so many new people too, and I kid you not, I think I socialized and met more people than I did my entire high school career. I'm not joking. I there was so many people that I talked to this year, and so many new people that I met that I am still contacting to this day, even though it's only been a couple weeks. I'm still in contact with them, and I am trying to make sure that I really stay committed this time to try to keep keep contacting them. Because I will be honest, my previous years I didn't really try that much to stay in contact with everyone I met. Um, because a lot of people usually say like, "Oh, we'll keep in touch and everything," and after a few weeks you do, but then it slowly fades away. This year, I'm really gonna try to commit to keep in contact with many people that I've met, um, and also because I'm really starting to do social media because I'm going to college and everything, and my parents don't really like social media that much. But hey, I'm 18 now, so they can't control that anymore. So I will do what I want. Thank you. Um, but yeah, this was again a very special year. Rex asked me to do the big band ensemble again. We played English folk song suite, coming rising back. We played the first and the third. It was a lot of fun, like always. I'm very glad. I'm very grateful that he thought of me playing oboe and everything. Um, and let's see, I did solo night, of course, this year. I wanted to play a very special piece, so I played this piece called Fresh Start. Here's a little bit more perfection of arranging. Whoopsies, sorry. Um, but yeah, I really like this piece. It sounds so great on the oboe, and I'm also really happy of how it came out that night too. I for some reason decided to just kind of start walking in playing because it kind of has like a little intro before it gets to like kind of the song itself. So I decided to kind of like walk in while playing before I started playing the song itself. Um, and a fun fact is I actually did not practice walking and playing at the same time. I didn't like practice that at all. And actually, I realized that when I was on because I was first in the program, and I realized like, oh crap, I realized I never practiced walking and playing at the same time. I was like, all right, YOLO, here we go, and it worked out. Um, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. I think a lot of people liked it. Um, Tuesday night, I played in two different ensembles. One was good, one was not so good. The first one was a woodwind quintet ish. It was more than a quintet, but there was like five different instruments. Was it? No, actually, no. It was kind of like a woodwind ensemble. In a way, I don't. It's not really a quintet. It's just I'm just gonna call it an ensemble because like there was there was two oboes and like two bassoons, but also a clarinet, um, and one flute player. So yeah, it was kind of like its own unique thing. But anyway, we played this Lady Gaga melody that Luke arranged, and it was really good. I am very happy with how it turned out. Um, and I'm very amazed of how Luke arranged all those together. I mean, I know I've done something similar before, but just considering how he arranged it for, a woodwind ensemble is, you know, pretty impressive. So, big shout outs to him. And then, and then the second ensemble I played in was another Devil Reed thing that Vinny arranged. We played The Sorcerer's Apprentice. I thought it was a good arrangement, but boy, did we need a lot more rehearsal time. Because this, the way he arranged it, there was like so many key signatures that not many of us understood. Um, and it was, I had to try to, carry a lot, and I wasn't, I kind of failed at doing so. And it was just kind of a big disaster. I don't really want to talk about it that much more than that, but yeah, it did not work out as well. Anyway, moving on. I did not participate in stunt night because, oh my gosh, literally, and literally, playing. I was playing so much during that week, because I was doing all those ensembles and I was doing a lot of practicing because I had because I also played an orchestra as well. I played first in orchestra and I had so many solos. Holy crap! like overloading with the oboe solos, so I had to practice them as well because they weren't that easy. And I was also since I'm a graduating senior, I had the ability to audition for scholarships as well. So I was practicing pieces for that, and I was doing so much playing, because on top of like the 5 hours of rehearsals and ensembles that you do, I was also pretty much playing in like almost every rec period too, and that's a lot. So I really didn't have time to like meet up with groups to do something for stunt night. And I've been, I probably could have like participated in one if I really went at it. But I decided, let's not overload myself. Let's take a little break. Let's just enjoy stunt night. Let's just sit and watch for once. And I do not regret doing that at all. I thought stunt night was really good, and I got to I sat around a lot of my friends, and we all had a good time with it. So I do not regret that at all. Um, but yes, I did play. Excuse me, I did play first in orchestra, and our conductor was David Beck, um, who's really good. A lot of people said they actually didn't like him. Sorry if I'm saying that at all, but I thought he was really good, and the amount of memes that we spawned in that ensemble was amazing. It was a very very funny group, by far like the funniest ensemble I've ever been in, especially in Laurel Music Camp history. But that was a lot of fun. It really made like the rehearsals enjoyable, which is kind of significant because you're in there 5 hours a day. So if any way to make those 5 hours enjoyable is a win for me. Um, and also, I talked about how I auditioned for a scholarship, and to my very surprise, on Thursday, I won the Bill Peters scholarship, and I was very surprised by that. Like honestly, I thought there was like some other people who auditioned who were better than I was, and I thought we are gonna win it. Um, but no, they decided that I was good enough. They thought I was, had a good enough reason because I am going to college in music education, and I thought my reasons for studying music education and my playing were worthy enough of giving some money for. And I'm very thankful to all those people who believed in me. So I'm very grateful for that. Um, I got a nice baton too. I don't have it with me right here, but it's blue, of course, which was another kind of running thing during that week because I have blue hair, and so I wore a lot of blue too. And this year was just a hell of a time. Honestly, I met so many new people. I communicated with so many people from last year, um, and I'm still connecting with them to this very day. And it was it was just such a wholesome and amazing time. And I do think definitely I do think it's definitely as good as last year. It if not better. I wouldn't say it wasn't like absolutely perfect week. If it was, then I call a perfect week some like things that absolutely go my way. And of course, nothing goes everyone's way. There's really no such thing as perfection, especially when it comes to music. But honestly, I think that was probably as close to perfect as you can possibly get. There was so much good that happened um, during that week, and I left not only sad but also with, because it was over, but also with a lot of happiness, because I will say this. I just finished my senior year in high school, and excuse my language, but it was an absolute shit show of a year. So much so much crap kept happening throughout the whole year, and it was a very stressful time. I will definitely say I hit many low points. I had probably hit like five of my most lowest points during that year, and it was a very stressful time. A whole bunch of anxiety, most I've ever gotten. I won't get too specific or anything, but it was an extremely dark time in my life. You know, a lot of people say like, "Oh, your senior year is supposed to be like the best one because you're not doing much." Well, I did a lot, and sure, that is on me. I will say this, that is on me. Um, but I just did so much, and it just got very overwhelming at times because I really wanted to try to do my best to achieve the greatest, and try to achieve greatness. And I know it's very cliche, but I really tried to do. I really wanted to do the best I could, and that comes at a cost, I guess. But just combined with just my personality and just how much crap kept happening, personal wise, family wise, school wise, socially. It was it was not fun. It was not fun. So you can imagine how happy I was to be at Laurel Music Camp and how special it was because it meant that I was done. And that was kind of it was almost like the safe haven of the whole year because it meant I was done with high school. At that time I graduated, and I got to see all my friends again. I got to see all my real friends again. And that was very special and very important to me. And I anything that happened at Laurel Music Camp that week I would not change for the world. And I think that would give me much needed confidence for going into college. And that brings us to here. It's now been a whole week since Laurel Music Camp this year has ended, and this is absolutely one of the best things that have ever happened to me. I don't know where I would be without Laurel Music Camp. I said this at the beginning. It has not only helped me develop musically as a musician, but also as a person too. Because I used to be this like absolute shy, small, kid my first year, and then now I'm just like, I'm participating in solo night, I'm performing, I'm putting myself out there, I'm making myself be known as a human being, as a person. As I can't tell you like how many people like actually know me at Laurel Music Camp. It's and I know that might seem a little bit selfish and self-centered, but it's just absolutely like amazing. It's incredible, really. They said like just how far I've come when they were announcing the scholarship, and I could not agree with that more. And I don't know where I would be without it. I'm so thankful that my mom pushed me to go here my very first year, and I'm very thankful to the amazing, fantastic, loving, caring people there. All my friends, all the staff. It's a very special place and a very important place to not just me, but so many other people. And I could not wait. I cannot wait to come back as a junior counselor next year. But anyway, that has been my 5-year long Laurel Music Camp experience. I'm sorry for the quality on the video here. It's really not that good. I'm using the webcam on my computer. And it's not, the whole thing is not exactly in frame because reasons. But hey, I have a little logo right down there, 75th. That does something for you. But yeah, that's been it. This has been nice, kind of talk about my feelings and experiences. a way to kind of get out, share it with the people. Whoever's watching, I hope I've convinced you that how important and special Laurel Music Camp is. For anyone who doesn't know what it is and interested in going, I could not recommend this place enough. It is a fantastic place. And for any of my friends or people watching, hello, good to see you. And yeah, just thank you to everyone who just helped make Laurel Music Camp such an amazing place. Because it's truly it's a fellowship. It's an absolute fellowship, and it's an absolute time. And it's kind of, in a way, it's kind of saved my life. And again, I don't know where I would be without it. Thanks again for watching and listening to me, everyone. Hope you enjoyed, and have a great day. Bye-bye.